Welcome back to my channel, JDJ Planet, and to my podcast, God is an Artist. My pretty pink ink pen broke, and I'm pretty sad about it, but that's okay because I'll get to replace it soon. But anyway, moving forward, I wanted to dedicate today's episode to black hair. I wanted to talk about how black hair is God's chosen style for African Americans and Africans alike. And I just think it's so fun. Like, okay, I got my little strands, hollow strands. And if you know anything about crafting, you remember, when we were in school, see if I could still do this, we would take like a sharp edge or the scissors and just like, let's see if I can still do this. Hold on. Pull it. And I don't know like what the, I guess, science of this is, but this is how I imagine God was in heaven making our hair. Just messing around with what he had up there, the little art supplies that he hoards in heaven. I don't know, God probably isn't a hoarder, but this is how I imagine like he would make our hair. And then it would curl. Isn't that so much fun? Like, this is like, God in heaven designing humans. And he was probably experimenting like, what can I do for this group? Like everyone else, I've done something similar for everyone else, but what can I do differently for this group? And he decided to give us strands that do this. And he probably was having so much fun in heaven. I just put lotion on so my hands are kind of slippery. But like, he was probably having so much fun in heaven, just like, wow, look at what I could do with the different strands. And I think that's so much fun. Like, our hair is so beautiful. Honestly, our hair would grow if we actually loved our hair. So I wanted you to check out a couple of videos really quick, and we're going to come back and talk about it.
And the leaves are like yellow. I don't think that's good.
11-year-old Samantha Petragli and her mom are still trying to nurse this dead plant back to life after the 5th graders class killed it, and not with kindness.
I feel sad about the bullies plant because I don't like to see anything die.
For her science fair project this year, the Comac girl and her mom bought 2 of the same types of plants from the same nursery. Both were then placed on the same windowsill inside her classroom.
This way it was even. They had the same amount of water, the same amount of sunlight.
The only difference, one was verbally complimented every day by Samantha's classmates, and the other was bullied. Students tracked it all by a checklist.
So the rules were, with bullying the plant, say mean things to it. Call the plant ugly, call the plant fat, call the plant stupid.
The plant that was bullied began to wilt right away, and after just 6 days, it died, while the one that received compliments continued to grow.
If bullying a plant for just 6 days basically kills it, imagine bullying a child.
Last year, the furniture company IKEA conducted a similar experiment as a public service announcement against bullying, getting the same result. According to the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying, 68.4% of Long Island middle school students expressed they were bullied in school. Samantha says she's one of them, which prompted her to do this experiment.
I like that it shows how bullying can wear you down and hurt you and hurt your feelings.
There's no concrete proof that the science project actually worked, but for this Comac family, they're happy it at least served as a teaching tool. Ali Bauman, CBS 2 News.
Dr. Emoto has conducted another interesting experiment. He placed rice into 3 glass beakers and covered it with water. And then every day for a month, he said, "Thank you" to one beaker, "You're an idiot" to the second, and the third one he completely ignored. After 1 month, the rice that had been thanked began to ferment, giving off a strong, pleasant aroma. The rice in the second beaker turned black. And the rice that was ignored began to rot. Dr. Emoto thinks that this experiment provides an important lesson, especially with regard to how we treat children. We should take care of them, give them attention, and converse with them. Indifference does the greatest harm.
Tell some dreamy story, but almost.
Okay, so as you can see, energy and communication plays a huge role in the way our lives are shaped. To further demonstrate the existence of energy, I have here this energy stick, courtesy of Eileen from Palatine Retreat Center. If you're needing any sort of yoga or sound baths, drum circles, and anything of that nature, you can check out that facility. But this stick, it kind of looks like a battery. If you ever have like a small group or a team building activity, you can get yourself an energy stick. This is Steve Spangler's energy stick. So, and I put one hand on one side and one hand on the other. And you can see how my energy passes through this stick. I don't think this stick, depending on how nice you are or how mean you are, it'll change. But essentially, the energy that we give our hair will dictate how our hair grows. If we spoke more life into our hair, if we were more patient with our hair, and if we just, were more positive whenever we treated our hair, then we would see black hair grow a little bit more. Loving the form of you that God chose is another way to love him, right? If you know an artist in your life, if you have an artist in your life, or you yourself are an artist, you know how it feels when, somebody likes your work and they want to know about it. They want to get to know how to take care of it. They want to know your thought process behind why you put that together. And so I think God might be the same way when it comes to his works, especially like, black hair. And I'm particularly dedicating this episode to black hair because of the fact that I love God's creation. And I know people who love God who struggle to accept what God chose for us. I hope to encourage you to, look at your hair in a different light instead of looking at it as a burden, instead of looking at it like you're missing out, instead of looking at another ethnicity and wondering why our hair can't look like their hair. I think it's fair, especially as someone who loves God, but anyone with hair like ours to get to know it and to learn how to take care of it. I want to share some scriptures with you, and these scriptures just kind of talk about hair, and talk about God forming us, like how he made us. Well, how he made us, I don't know. Let's see here. I wrote all these down sporadically, so they're not in any particular order. So let's check out Revelation 1:14. So this is John's vision for Christ in Revelation 1:14. The hair on his head was white like wool, white as snow, and his eyes were blazing like fire. So this is talking about John envisioning the second coming of Christ, and his hair is like wool. If God can choose that texture for the second coming of Christ, then I think it's okay to embrace that texture for ourselves. Another verse I'll share with you. Let me go down one. Luke 12:7. Luke 12:7. Luke 12:7. Indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. So of course, this verse doesn't point to any particular texture, but if we can imagine God numbering each of our hairs, you can imagine, I flattened one. Oops. You can imagine him counting all these. Like, how many of these do you think he would count on each individual head? And it's like, That's a lot of thought and a lot of care to put into a design. And so, this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a mistake. God put a specific amount of these in each of our heads, and he knows each number. So going to the next verse, 12, no, Matthew 10 and 30. Similar verse. It says, and even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Just to reiterate, Luke 12 and 7. And so going forward to talk about hair, well, I'm really just going backwards at this point. I started from the back, but I got Revelation at the top and I worked it down. Anyway, going on to the next, Proverbs 16 and 31. And while I'm dedicating this episode to black hair, the Bible has a lot of references to, I think, all types of hair. So like, if you ever wanted to get to know God's design for your hair type, you can explore the Bible for that too. And so where am I at? Proverbs 16 and 31. This one also doesn't point to any particular texture, but it says that gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness. And I think some other versions say it's like something you gain from being wise for a long time. Another thing to embrace about God's design. God designed hair as it ages to turn gray. And that is such a crown of experience. That's a crown of you made it, right? You grew up, you got to grow old, and now you get to see like that crown, what that looks like. Very similar to that one, Proverbs 20 and 29. And there's no such thing as too much scripture. There's no such thing. The glory of young men is their strength. Gray hair is the splendor of the old. Once again, to reiterate, how beautiful it is to grow grays. And then I'll go to Song of Songs. Your Bible might say Song of Solomon, 5 and 11. And this sounds like a woman describing her lover, her love. It says 5 and 11. His head is purest gold. His hair is wavy and black as a raven. And this whole little section, she actually describes him beautifully. I might go into detail I might reference Song of Songs, Song of Solomon when I do how God designed marriage. But, she's describing his hair is wavy and it's black as a raven. And so, I don't know what ethnicity she's pointing to here, but like one of my favorite hairstyles in the black community is black waves. Whether it's on a young man, a fella, and he's got the waves and his, hair is cut nice, or it's a young lady and she might have her hair slicked back and she's got like waves in her hair. And then our texture of hair, black texture is so diverse, like all of it can be wavy, curly, coily, but it's all still so beautiful, just as beautiful as she would describe her man's hair to be. So I do one more passage for you. Psalm 139, 13 through 18. And all of these verses that I'm sharing with you, you could write them on a sticky note and put them in your mirror to remind yourself that God is our designer. God is our maker. And if you're wanting to learn how to better accept your hair and show more love to it, then these would be great places to start in speaking literal life into your hair. 13 through 18. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are beautiful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you. When I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. If I were to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I am awake, I am still with you. Whenever you're having a bad hair day, right? You're trying to embrace your hair and it's just not working right. It's just not cooperating with you and you're getting frustrated. This might be a cool verse for you to pull out. Like, okay, God, I'm having a hard time with this hair of mine, but I know you knit me together in my mother's womb. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. This hair of mine is fearfully and wonderfully made. And then you can say a quick prayer about patience for your hair, and keep it pushing. Let that prayer do what that prayer is supposed to do. I hope and pray that you can take those verses and speak life into your hair with them. It's so interesting that blackness always is the foundation for somebody else's beauty, right? You braid your hair down to braid down the foundation to sew another ethnicity's hair onto your head. Black culture continues to be the foundation for like K-pop and BTS and, popular fashion trends that come out of black culture. A lot of African culture has influenced the world, but it's like, where's the credit that we deserve? And so radically, I'm going to proclaim that learning how to love our hair and learning how to speak life into our hair, I think will completely radicalize our identity as a group. Because, and pardon me, I've always been team natural myself. So, I enjoy this topic, but I never want to be disrespectful. As I'm exploring God as an artist, whenever we are doing like character design and character creation, we take a moment to decide what kind of hair we want that character to have. And so God's creativity is unmatched. And I think by loving our hair, we can show God that we love how he creates. We love how he makes. This could be like an interesting way to explore faith, right? Natural hair journey, faith hair journey. I'm gonna try to include in the description people you can go to learn how to take care of your hair. Nothing far-fetched, right? The natural hair community definitely has those, grow your hair down your back in 90 days. I'm not talking about them because that seems like an unrealistic goal that is still tied to coveting another ethnicity's hair. Like, I hope and pray that you can unlock whatever's healthy for your hair, especially as the beautiful African American artwork that you are. Keep your hair washed, conditioned, moisturized, oiled, and protected, and love it, love it, love it. Then you will see results. You will see them. Our Giving Art campaign is live right now. We're raising money to give art healing to the community, and we are raising money to build community through the arts. So you can give via the link in the description. And every dollar counts. You want to give $1, give $1. You want to give a $5, give a $5. But anyway, I appreciate every bit of support, and I will see you in the next video.